This angle makes my head look really small. Like I always had a small head and like a little neck, but with this hoodie on, it just make like I already have kind of a large bust. So does it make my dance moves look awkward? Like, can I dance? Like, I always wonder. Like, it may be really lame, but I always wonder. Like, am I a good dancer? Like, y'all let me know in the comments below. Am I a good dancer? Hey, 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 hey. Boom, 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 bow, 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 bow. What's up, YouTube? It's Sidnie Iyland here. That's Island with the Y, not an S. And that was really extra. The way I just said that was really extra. But that's me. I'm kind of an extra person. But I am filming a video, and I realized that I can be intense. Like, it took me forever to really like start a video and not overthink it. And speaking of overthinking, that's what this video is all about. Rumination. Ruminating on your past mistakes. And sorry, I'm out of breath because I just danced. Ruminating on your past mistakes and overthinking things and, you know, worrying about messing up and stuff like that. That's what this video is about. It took me forever to like just start the video and feel comfortable because I was overthinking it and I kept trying to get everything right and I was trying to say everything right. But I realized that the best videos for me are the ones where I'm not really like, I don't have too much expectation for it. Like, I'm just going for it and I'm just speaking from how I feel in the moment. I find that those are the best videos. And that goes for overthinking. A lot of times in life, when you overthink something and you think really, really hard about it, it ruins whatever you're trying to go for. Because you thought so hard about it. Thought that was a spider, but it's a mark on the wall. I'm like, no, get out of here. Okay, I was like low-key terrified. But, you know, you overthink things and it doesn't solve anything. It kind of puts you in a hole. And it's hard to get out of that hole when you overthink and you think like really hard. It kind of ruins the outcome. Hold on, I gotta turn the heater off because it's getting too warm. But when you overthink something and you keep thinking about the outcome of it and you keep thinking about how it could go or, you know, the worst that could possibly happen, it kind of ruins a good thing. It ruins something that could be good because you're just thinking about it so much that now it's like, what else is left now that you thought so much about it, you know? Like, and life, I've realized, is the best moments are the ones that are unpredictable, the ones that you didn't plan. I find that sometimes over planning can take the joy out of things. And sometimes I can do that. I mean, don't get me wrong, you know, I mean, I'm an earth sign, I'm a Taurus, and we really like to plan, you know, before we do a lot of stuff because that feels secure for us. But, it's not always a good thing to plan everything and to write like a list and all that. It helps for certain things, but for everything, it can suck the joy out of it, you know? And that's not what I want in my life. I want spontaneity. I want a whimsical life. I want to just do things randomly. Like, for example, today is January the 1st, 2019, by the way. My friend, one of my best friends that I grew up with from middle school, I've known her since 8th grade. She just kind of unexpectedly showed up at my house for us to go to the club on New Year's Eve with one of her friends from her job. And I felt like that the night was really fun, like going to the club and everything. And that was my first time going to a club before. I'd never gone, you know, and I had a lot of fun. And I felt that if I had planned it, like if I had known that we were going to go to the club, I probably wouldn't have had as much fun. But it was like an unexpected arrival. And she was like, I texted you. Like, she came to my door. I heard a knock at 8 o'clock at night, a knock at my door. And I'm like, who is that? I'm like, who is at my house at 8 o'clock? Nobody ever comes to my house at 8 o'clock. And then it was her. It was my friend. And, I was surprised. I was like, what are you doing here? And she was like, I texted you. I said, we're going to the club tonight. And I'm like, say what? You texted me. And she didn't. She thought she did, but she didn't. And I felt that if she had, I don't know why, like, just she caught me at the right time, and my energies were really good at that time. And I just, I say that to say that a lot of times when life is unpredictable and random, that's when good stuff happens. That's when the exciting stuff happens, and for the people out there that find it really difficult to just like break away from that perfectionism and that need to always get things right and always have things go a certain way, this is for y'all, because I'm like that. I'm just like that. I sometimes find it like really hard to just like loosen up and just like let life just be what it is and just live and let live and just be in the moment, because I'm like stuck in my mind. And I'm thinking about old dumb stuff that I did and said and bad memories. Like, what do you do with bad memories, And the worst thing that you can do is overthink it and like dwell on it, I've had like so many embarrassing moments in my life. And, whenever I dwell on it, it gets worse. Like the embarrassing feeling, it gets worse. But when I kind of try to let it go and just say that, hey, that's life. Like everybody embarrasses themselves sometimes. Like that's just life, just let it go. Like if you keep thinking about it over and over and over and over and over again, then it becomes a real problem. And a lot of times things aren't even a problem until you make it a problem. Like literally, I've learned this a lot through a lot of spiritual teachers on like YouTube and just like life itself in general. Life is neutral. Nothing has to be negative. Nothing has to be positive. When something happens to you, it just happened. You can just look at it as this just happened. Like when you write a book or you read a book, stuff just happens in a story. And that's how I feel about life. Like life is like a story. Life is like a book. And like it's really up to the main character to decide how they want to like treat the stuff that happens in their life. And everything is neutral, and you have a choice of whether you want to make it a negative or make it a positive. I mean, it's always up to you. Something that was very disturbing could have happened to you, but you don't have to like make it a negative thing. And I have a hard time. I have a hard time getting that out to people. Mostly because I feel like that sometimes I have a hard time expressing myself to people, and they think that what does Sidnie know? She's just this skinny little nerd girl. Like what has she gone through? But I don't talk about everything that I've gone through in my life with people, just because I have trust issues like most people on this planet, just because people can't be trusted. I don't talk about everything that I've gone through. I've had some really, really embarrassing stuff happen to me, and some really uncomfortable stuff happen to me. And I was determined after this stuff happened to like have it make me a better person, and make me a stronger person, and just kind of say, well, since I've gotten through this, I can get through this, that, and the third, and it really does help to think like that. And it helps to kind of move forward. No, I'm not, saying that I've had a rough life, and, I was, my life wasn't like that. Like it wasn't like I didn't have like a traumatic, like, life. I've had some very, uncomfortable things happen. But whenever those things happen, no, I'm not saying that I'm perfect and that I have all the answers, and that I don't still dwell on those things and think about it and get sad or hurt, because I do. I'm human. But the finishing thing for me, like the end thing that I want to do, is to just like take it and have it bring out the best in myself. But when I say that, I'm not trying to be like cheesy, and it's easier said than done. It really is. So I don't want people to hear that and think that they are doing something wrong. Like, you're not doing anything wrong if you overthink things and you're really in your head, and you have a hard time getting out of your darkness or depression. You're not really doing anything wrong. You're just human, and you're just reacting in a human way, and sometimes, I would have this kind of idealistic kind of way of looking at life, where I felt like that I had to be happy all the time, and I had to just kind of like, when something happens to me, I gotta just take the best out of it and just move forward, instead of actually feeling that pain. And I feel like that's the worst thing to do, is to not feel your pain, and is to brush it, like sweep it under the rug. But also I feel that we should try to have a balance with our trauma, and it's really bad to wallow in that pain for a long period of time and never try to move out of that and do better and move forward. That can also be a bad thing too. So it's like just delve into that pain and feel that pain and be with that pain, but don't prolong the pain. You don't have to. You've already felt enough pain having gone through the difficult situation. You don't need to prolong the pain by constantly thinking about it over and over and over and over again. And I hope that like this all makes sense, because sometimes when I make videos and I'm talking, I'm not sure if everything that I'm saying connected. You know, I try my best to make everything connect in my videos. But yeah, that's what I want to talk about, is overthinking and bad memories and uncomfortable memories and stuff like that. Because you know, nobody really knows how tough something is for you except for you. And you know, you're not in my shoes, you're not me, so you don't really know how tough it is to deal with this certain thing. And I'm not saying that I'm perfect and that I always have the utmost empathy for people's pain. I try to, but sometimes I'm not aware of, you know, how badly they're hurt or something like that, you know, because I'm a human being. And let's face it, us human beings sometimes can be selfish, and sometimes we don't really want to see things from other people's perspective because, you know, we're stubborn and we just don't want to. But I try to be empathetic. I'm not perfect. But that's what this video is all about. I think that even more so, it's important to have empathy for yourself and forgive yourself, because, man, there's nothing like self-forgiveness, you know, to be able to forgive yourself for something. And I'm on that journey right now. Like, I am still trying to forgive myself for dumb stuff that I did. And sometimes I have a tendency to not want to talk about things because I feel like people wouldn't think it's valid, because they don't think that I have gone through stuff that I've gone through and felt pain as deep as I felt it. So they probably would think that, you know, you haven't really gone through anything, you know, what your experience is like nothing. You're too young. That's the main thing that I always kind of worry about, is the fact that I'm young, and people would think that because I'm so young, you know, I'm 22, that's pretty young. In my opinion, 22 is very young. And because I'm so young, people would think that my experiences is just like not valid. Like I'm too young to know anything. I'm too young to have experienced this deep pain. But children can experience pain. Children can experience trauma. And why does age even matter? Pain is pain, you know, and why is your pain deeper or, you know, more important or worse just because you're older? You know, I mean, a child at the age of like 7 years old being in the middle of a divorce between her or his parents, that's traumatic for them and that's painful. And just because they're young doesn't mean that it doesn't hurt, or that just because they may not necessarily understand what's going on, it doesn't mean that they're not hurt. So, you know, your pain matters no matter how old you are and no matter what race you are or where you're from. Your pain matters, you know, period. And don't be mean and hard on yourself and act like that it doesn't, just because other people don't understand it or they can't see things from your perspective. I just went on a kind of a whole rant, and I don't even know what I was even talking about. Sometimes the thoughts they're there, and they just come out of my mouth, like, shoop, just out of my mouth. They just shoot out, and I don't even know. Like, I look back at it. I look at my videos, and I'm like, oh, so that's what I said. Because it's almost like I'm possessed sometimes, you know, when I'm talking, and just the thoughts just like coming. Thinking, it is so normal to ruminate on your past mistakes and the embarrassing moments that you've had, and just goof yourself, because it's a problem for me. Like every day I remember something dumb that I did, and sometimes you don't even realize that you're doing that to yourself. Sometimes you don't even realize that you have these memories every day. Like it's just it becomes so a part of the norm for you, and it's an everyday thing that you don't even realize that is even happening. And then you kind of look at it and you're like, wow, I remember something negative that I did in the past every day. Like as soon as I wake up in the morning, I remember something cringy that I did, or, you know, just like something that I said during an argument that was mean or immature or stupid that I didn't really mean. And I'm like, you know, like, yeah. I just when I make these videos, I want to feel that my opinion and my emotions and feelings and everything is valid. And I want to make people who watch my videos feel as though that what they have gone through is also valid. And that especially for Black women, because a lot of the times the world has a tendency to dismiss our pain and dismiss our trauma. And you know, in the Black community, you know, when a person is depressed, and this goes for Black men too, when a person is depressed in the Black community, is looked at as like laziness. You know, when we're depressed, typically when you're really depressed, you lose interest in things. That's a common symptom of depression. And you lose interest in things, and you lay in the bed and you don't want to get up out of the bed. You don't want to wash. You don't want to do anything. Because you feel like you'd rather be dead. So why take care of a body that I don't even want to have, because I don't even want to be here? And that's a thought that a lot of people have. And wow, it just got really deep. Like, I did not expect to get deep in this video. But depression, it shows up in different ways in different people. People deal with their depression in different ways. And in the Black community, dealing with depression is swept under the rug and is looked at as in a negative. It's like, oh, you know, these Black kids are just lazy. You know, they don't care about themselves. They don't care about their future. Some of these Black kids are depressed because the world is really negative towards us, and we're terrified because just the other day, a Black kid that is the same age as us got killed in the street just for being Black, and he wasn't even doing anything bad. So he's just like me. Like, that, if that can happen to him, that can happen to me. I'm depressed about it. I'm terrified. I'm scared. And you see a lot of you know, Black guys will act out of their depression by, you know, getting into fights and stuff a lot. And I feel like it's just seen as him being like a belligerent Black guy, you know, instead of him being like a guy that's in pain. And I think that that's one thing that we need, is more empathy and compassion towards each other and what we go through. And also having an empathy for other people of other cultures, and just, you know, being curious about other cultures. And, you know, it's nothing wrong with that. And there's nothing wrong with dating outside of your race, because you can learn about other cultures if you date other cultures. And you know, that's how I feel. Kind of went way off on a rant, and I didn't expect for this video to be almost 20 minutes. I just want that people who watch this to know that your pain is valid. If it hurt you, it hurt you. Period. And just because your pain may not be as bad as somebody else's pain, it doesn't make it any less important. And that's what I wanted to address, is that as an issue that we face in this society. People are so judgmental and so hateful and just so cynical and critical that, you know, when people talk about their problems, they get shut down because people always say, oh, you know, somebody has it worse. You know, there's some starving kids in Africa right now. So, you know, that trauma that you went through when you were 5 years old, it's nothing compared to, you know, the fact that these starving kids never had a roof over their head. And I'm not saying that their pain isn't valid. Everybody's pain is valid. Their pain is valid. The fact that they live in lack that's awful. But everybody has pain, and everybody's pain is equal. You are special, and your pain is real. You felt that. And the only person who can speak about that and speak the truth around that is you. You speak your own truth. Nobody can speak the truth. Speak your own truth. You have to have your own truth. And your pain is real, and your pain is valid, and your concerns are valid. I try my best to be empathetic and compassionate towards people because I want people to do the same for me. So you overthink, and you just think about the negative thing that you did and said, and you ruminate, and you just keep thinking about some silly stuff that you did because you just have this weird anxiety that you don't quite understand. You're not alone. You are not alone.